Hi everyone. Today I'll just be explaining about the what is MySQL database. Before understanding what is MySQL database, we'll be understanding what is database. What is data? Yeah. To understand what is database, yeah. What is database? Database is a collection of data in the form of tables. This, where the data will be in the form of tables, where uh, database is primarily known as. Now let me explain you what is tables actually. Tables is actually a collection of data in the form of rows and columns. We'll be storing this data in the database, right? That will be stored in the form of tables. The data which is there in the tables will be in form of rows and columns. Yeah. Uh, so I'll be explaining you next. What is it? Uh, Actually, what is database will actually takes the data and it will manipulate the data. And if we want to access the data, if we want to select some data, then the database we can connect. If you want to give an example, um, when if you are going to any coffee shop and they have some database in the system. If you go and select when you go for getting a coffee shop, to which have been previously also, you go there and give them your name or your phone number, which is already registered. They tell you that hi with your name, or they'll call you with your name, and you have some points. They just give the data in the database. It will be stored actually. If you go to any shop or any booking stop, or if you go to Flipkart, Amazon, anything, when they click your name, the database takes your data from there, from the backend, and it will give to the front end actually. That's the database. It will be stored in the rows and columns. Uh, yeah. If you want to give you one small example also, uh, yeah. Now, if it is there that in Amazon, if you click a button, home. If you click on any electronics good, if you go, there is a sales, any sales is there, you go to electronics section and select earphones. When you select the earphones, it goes to the primarily to the backend and it takes the data, what is the price of that earphones, and it will display so that it gets the data from the backend. That is a small example of the database. Now, let me explain you what is the types of database. Types of databases. Types of databases. There are primarily two types of database. One is a relational database. Relational database is primarily known as uh, the, there are multiple tables, and there is which is there in there is a relation between that tables. If there is employee table and the department table, the connection between these tables, there will be one column common or like that, so that it have a relation in that. Or if you take a primary table also, which the data is stored in the form of rows and columns. Data is stored in rows and columns. It's known as relational database. If we come to example of relational database, it is MySQL and Postgres, SQLite, That is the example. What's the meaning of relational database? Second, we'll be getting into NoSQL database. In this data will be stored in the form of key value. Will be data will be stored in documents and also in graphs. What the main difference is like the NoSQL, the relation, there won't be any relation between the tables. Then it is known as NoSQL. The example is HBase, MongoDB, Cassandra. Yeah. If we come to what that is NoSQL and what is the relation tables, the main difference is in relationship. There will be relations between the data between the tables actually in the relational database. When it comes to no relational and non-SQL database, there won't no relation between the tables actually. That is the difference between this both. And when it comes to the now we'll be explaining about the SQL, which is known as a structured query language. Okay. So this is structured query language actually. When it comes to structured query language, SQL is a structured query language, which is a query language which is used to access the database. MySQL is the difference between MySQL and the this database. Difference between the SQL and MySQL is SQL is used. It's a query language which is used to access the database, which is MySQL. That is the difference between the MySQL and the SQL. Yeah, which is used to query the relational database SQL. Now let us discuss about the some of the uh, queries or which I query language, right? SQL. So we'll be explaining you about some of the queries. When it comes to data, when you want to see the database in MySQL, you will be using this to show the databases. So you'll be using show databases. That's it. Show databases. When you click on the show databases, you'll be getting all the number of databases which are there in the in your system or in your MySQL server. You'll be getting that is show databases. After clicking show databases, if it is not there actually, if database is not there, so what you will do is you will use create command, create databases. Uh, you have created the database. That's good. Now you want to drop. Uh, if there is any scenario where you want to drop the databases, actually here I didn't give the name. Okay, so I'll be giving as uh, data. Okay, I'll be giving as database create database data. Um, if there's any scenario I want to delete this data, if it comes like drop database data, so it will drop. Usually drop means it will delete the data and the schema actually. Now I have created it. Now I have just forget about the drop. Okay, I just meant to explain it. If I want to create a database, I have created the data. So now I want to use that data. See, I have created the database. Now I want to use that data. So I'll be using use data because my database name is data. So I'll use it. Okay, it's that simple actually. Now I want to, uh, I would just want to check which database I'm using. So I'll use select databases and this. Then I click on this, I'll be getting select databases. To check which database I am using currently. When I use this command, I'll be getting as data. Okay, these are the basic commands for the databases which you have to use. Now I have explained previously like the databases. See databases I have created. See here we'll use database. It's not databases actually. Yeah, I have explained like databases. In database we had the tables, right? So we need to create. Here database is like a box you just think. In that a small data is there. Small boxes. That is tables. This is database, one box. So it's like that actually. If I want to give explain example, if it is there, one college is there, one college. In that, if you come to CSC, is a database. In that database, there is sub in that. In that, there will be like employees, employee table, staff table, staff table. All these are the table names. I've explained. This is database and this is table. Now, there will be primarily CSC that in above also there will be branches. If it is some other college, big there is if it's a university, you had different things actually there. Okay, I just explained you what's the difference. Now I'll be explaining how to create a database, create a table. Sorry. So I'll be using as create, create, create table employee. So I'll be opening two braces and I'll use semicolon to close it. Colon. Yeah. Now I'll use name varchar. I'll be explaining you what is the varchar and what is int also. Just give me a minute. Age, salary. So before explaining you this, I'll be explaining you the data types which I used here. The data types used here is actually if it is a string in SQL, we'll use varchar for string. For integer, we'll use int only. I think you got this point. Okay. Yeah. So now our table is created as an employee name. So now I have created. Now I want to check show tables. Show tables. Once I have done that, I'll be seeing the number of tables. Okay. Yeah. I hope you all got it. The we have discussed what is databases, types of databases, and relational and NoSQL, and what is SQL, and how to create a database. The some basic commands which you use to access database, create database, and to delete the databases. And when it comes to example, we have seen and what is the uh, we have seen what is the tables and how to create tables and how to see the tables which are existed once we have created. These are the commands we have used. In the day two, we'll be explaining what is the